People, what's good? What's good in the hood? How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're all doing very, very well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Busy day, people. Busy day. It's just coming up to 12 o'clock. I thought, you know what, let's just get to the studio and do a quick vid so we don't have to do it tomorrow morning, because tomorrow evening I'm up for a radio award, best newcomer on the radio. Hopefully I get it. Hopefully I get it. I don't know what to do if I don't get it. I'm not one of those people that are going to be like, oh, congratulations to the person that won it. I'm going to be upset. So fingers crossed we get it. You guys will know if I get it because I will bring it right here. In fact, I might put it somewhere in here. I've got a couple of awards now, so I might put them in here. They're at home. But yeah, wish me good luck. If you watch this video in the morning, just say in the comment section, good luck, Ade, because I'm going to need all the luck in the world. All right, what are we talking about today? Let's see what there is to talk about. The fallout still continues a little bit from the Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter fight. Terence Crawford obviously getting the job done. Shawn Porter subsequently retiring after. What a career Shawn Porter's had. Let me quickly bring up Shawn Porter's box rec. Solid career. Like, solid career. And not just his career, but just him as a person. Like, I've never heard anyone say a bad word about Shawn Porter. I think that's why I think a lot of people are upset with his dad words after. Like when his dad says he didn't train properly. And you're thinking, come on, man, Shawn's a good one. Shawn's a good one. But you know what? His dad knows best. So let's look at Shawn's career. Two-time world champion. Obviously, he won his first belt, the IBF, beating Devon Alexander. Is that correct? Yeah, that was back in 2013. Defended it against Paulie Malignaggi. I remember, do you guys remember how he ran through Paulie? I'm not saying Paulie's anything special, but he ran through him in such a way that Paulie was even sort of maybe hinting that that Shawn could be on something. Do you remember that? I don't know if you guys remember that. Go back and check the interviews. Anyway, smashed Paulie, and then he had that fight against Kell Brook, lost that. And then, like, he didn't, you know, he took one warm-up against Eric Bone, but then he went straight in against Adrian Broner, who tried to weight drain him to 145 pounds. Then he had to fight, really good fight against the best version of Keith Thurman. Lost that fight. Close fight, though. Then he beat Andre Berto. Then he had that fight against Granados. And then he won his second world title when he beat Danny Garcia. And again, a very, very good fight. I thought he might have been a bit fortunate to beat Ugas. I thought Ugas, if you score it properly and take your love for Shawn away from it, I think Ugas might have stolen that. It was a split decision win for Shawn. Had that fight against Errol Spence when no one really wanted to fight Errol. That's when Errol was calling people out and it was like, who's going to fight Errol? He stood up, fought Errol, put in a really good performance. And if it wasn't for Errol getting that late knockdown, I mean, we could be talking a three-time world champion. But Errol got the win, had that fight against Formella, and then obviously had this fight against Terence Crawford. I mean, you look at some of the names I've just mentioned there. That's a guy that clearly has ducked no one. And we are in, I think, boxing times when people do duck. They could be ducking because the money isn't right and make excuses about broadcasters, but he's ducked nobody. Nobody. When everyone was talking about, you know, oh, we can't fight Terence because he's over there and we're over here, he was like, you know, I'll go over there. I'll go over there and fight him. And he put in a good performance against Terence. I really did. I think Terence obviously turned it up from sort of rounds 8, 9, but up until then, it was very, very close. And it's just unfortunate the way the fight played out. Him getting knocked down twice and then the dad stopping it after the second knockdown. Some people in the aftermath have been like, you know what? Terence is such a good finisher that his dad did well to stop it, because if his dad didn't stop it, it could have been dangerous. And maybe that's the taste. But when I was watching it live, I was like a bit disappointed that his dad stopped it. But look, good luck to Shawn in whatever he does. I still think there may be a fight left in him just because of the way that fight ended. But I hope there isn't. Again, get in, get rich, get out. He's made a lot of money. He's got a really good YouTube and podcasting going on. He'll be used by everyone and anyone when it comes to commentary. So he's okay. He's okay. For Terence, it has to be Errol next. I know Errol's talking about fighting in March and Errol might want to have a warm-up. I don't believe that. A lot of people have said that. I don't believe that, because when Errol had that car accident and came back, he went straight in with Danny. There was no warm-up. There was no, okay, let me see how I feel. He went straight in, and I think he might go straight in again because I think the money will be right this time. The pay-per-view didn't do too great. It done, I think, 160,000 buys. I don't know. They might look at what SHAWN did with Errol, which I think was a lot higher. So that might not help Terence when it comes to the negotiating table, but I still think there's something in that for that fight to be made. And I think it's a big money fight for both, and I think it will do good numbers. I think it will... Terence has to try and sell it a bit more. That's one thing he doesn't do. But I still think with the right push, and I think it will be given a big push, I still think that's a fight that could do 400,000 pay-per-view buys, and then both of them can get paid. So let's hope that happens in the new year. Big fight coming up this weekend. It's a fight that's been on, then off, then on, then off, on Triller, on somewhere else, and now it's on DAZN, and that's obviously Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos Jr. I like it. I look forward to it. I think Teofimo Lopez is no worse than a top 6 pound for pounder. I really think he's that good. Of all that 4 king thing where, talk about Gervonta, Ryan, Devin, Teofimo, to me, Teofimo is the one. He really is. I know people get excited about Gervonta, and I understand that. I think Gervonta is a fantastic fighter, but I look at Teofimo's last 2 wins. Richard Comey stopped in and then beat Vasyl Lomachenko, beat him. And I was super high on Lomachenko. So he, for me, is a legit guy. He's very confident, such a skillful boxer, very aggressive, but can box as well. Literally, there's nothing he doesn't have as far as I'm concerned, nothing. I wonder about the weight cut to 135 pounds. I wonder about the stop and start of the weight cut. And what I mean by that is that this fight was scheduled, then it was off. So he would have cut a bit of weight. Then it was scheduled, then I think Teofimo got COVID. Then he would have cut a bit of weight for that. Then now. So he's had to go up and down weight quite a lot. So I do wonder how he might have to shrink himself back into that 135 pound division. If he can make the weight correctly, as much as I like Kambosos, and I've literally just watched the Lee Selby fight again, he will run through Kambosos. Kambosos is good, but gives you opportunities. What Kambosos needs to do is take this to the second half of the fight. Against Lee Selby was having some success early, although I scored that fight comfortably for Kambosos. I mean, I think I gave it like 100 and... I think it was like almost like 9 rounds to 3 to Kambosos. I know it was a split decision. It wasn't in my eyes. But Kambosos was able to kind of weather the little storm that Lee Selby did have in the first half of the fight. And in the second half, he just took over. So he clearly gets stronger as the rounds go on. If he can stay in the fight, and look, he might get blown away here early, but if he can stay in the fight past 6, and then maybe Teofimo starts to slow down a bit, as he did against Loma. I know Loma's a completely different beast to Kambosos, but he started to slow down against Loma because, again, the weight cut's a tough one, and he puts so much pressure on you in the first half of the fight. Kambosos might have an opportunity here to take this all the way. I don't think he will. I think he'll get stopped, but he could have an opportunity. This fight's got a lot more heat than I expected, and I don't think it's just put on for both of these guys to kind of make money and try and sell the fight. I just genuinely think both camps don't like each other. I was just watching a kind of behind the scenes thing when Teofimo Lopez's dad literally runs up to Kambosos' dad, and it looks like they're going to throw hands. It looks like they're going to throw hands, people. They don't like each other. There's a lot of spite there. And Teo's dad turned to Teo and was like, you better knock this guy out. Like, don't play. Knock this guy out. And Teofimo was like, I will. So I think it's a fantastic fight. I think for DAZN, it's a big, big deal to get this fight. I don't know, obviously, not based in America. I don't know the kind of interest Americans have in Teofimo yet. I'm not quite sure if he's a pay-per-view fighter like that. I don't know if he will bring DAZN a lot of sign-ups, but I still think it's a big fight for DAZN to have. It really is. I think, look, there's a lot of heat around Teofimo right now. Again, that 4 Kings thing, he talks well. I think he sells the fight well. I think his dad helps to sell the fight as well. So it's a big deal for DAZN. And look, I want to sit on the fence of this one because I like both. I've spoken to George Kambosos before. I do like both, but I do want Teo to win just because I want to see those big fights in 2022. I loved the heat that him and Devin had. And for me, there's no reason whatsoever. If Devin don't get past Joe Diaz the week after, there's no reason why these two can't have an undisputed unification showdown March, April. There's absolutely no reason. And DAZN will be begging for that to happen because it will be on DAZN, most likely. So look, I hope Teo wins. I hope he wins in good fashion. I hope Devin Haney wins the following week, and then we can get this on. And what I mean by this is that all this talk about the 4 Kings, all that crap, if they're not fighting each other, it means nothing. They've got to fight each other. And I think this is probably the closest matchup that can happen. I think this is the one. I don't think Gervonta is going to fight any of them guys anytime soon. Ryan Garcia is going through his own issues right now outside the ring. Look, we've not seen Ryan in the ring since he fought Luke Campbell, which seems like an eternity ago. But this is the close one. Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez. And I think it's, again, another big fight for DAZN, potentially. But look, George Kambosos is good. He brings his own problems. But there are levels to this. And again, you watch his fight against Lee Selby, no disrespect, but that's Lee coming up from feather. Apologies. I know he had a couple of fights in between that. He fought Ricky Burns. But that's a small Lee Selby. In the ring, on Saturday, he's fighting a very, very big, aggressive, confident, strong Teofimo Lopez. And I expect Teofimo Lopez to get the job done and get the job done early. Honestly, if this goes past 5 or 6, I think Kambosos has done well. I expect Teofimo to get rid of him. I really do. But should be a good fight. I kind of want to know and gauge people's interest in the fight. I mean, I was and ahhing about doing a live watch along. If you guys are interested, I will do a live watch along. I enjoy doing them. I'm going to watch the fight anyway. I'll probably come here to watch it. So if you guys are going to be sort of standing up and watching the fight, let me know. I think because the fight's in New York, it might not be a 4 or 5 o'clock start. I think it might be a 2 o'clock in the morning start, which is fantastic. So I'm interested in doing the live. If you guys are interested, let me know. What else is there to talk about? A bit here about Charles Martin. He said he's motivated by revenge to topple Luis Ortiz. Charles Martin looks like he's, in recent sort of days, that his motivation now is to fight Anthony Joshua again. He's like, I want to fight AJ, you know, I want to kind of get that or run that back. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think AJ right now is a bit fragile, but AJ will run through Charles Martin. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Charles Martin's vastly improved since the AJ fight. He obviously had his issues outside the ring and he's done quite well since then. But yeah, let's just see what he does against Luis Ortiz first. Remember, that is in January. It's on pay-per-view. Decent undercard, by the way, but let's see what he does with that first, and then we'll know. You know, I was just thinking, just came to my head, what is going on with Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Williams? I have absolutely no idea what's going on, and I feel like everyone needs to kind of tell people what's happening here. I think it's a bit of a joke that we don't know what's going on, especially when the fight's so close. Look, I haven't bought a ticket. Obviously, I'll be working at Conor Ben Algieri fight in Liverpool. But for those people that have bought tickets, I mean, especially considering the fight's in Cardiff, those people have only really bought tickets for Liam Williams. They've not bought tickets to see Chris Eubank Jr. versus X. They bought tickets to see Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Williams. I think they've sold about 4,000 tickets. It's a nice arena, the Motorpoint Arena, really good. I remember watching years ago the likes of Enzo Maccarinelli's fought there, Gavin Reese's fought there, obviously Joe Calzaghe's fought there as well. But I think Sky have got a bit of a problem here. Because, look, I mean, what do you do? Do you pull Chris? Like, unless Chris needs to know now, so they can maybe get someone in for Chris to fight, and then I think people will still tune in. I think people will ask for, some people will ask for their money back, but I think a lot of people will want to see Chris fight. If Chris doesn't fight, you can't have a card headlined by Clarissa Shields versus someone that we don't know. It's just not going to work. My fear is that because they've not announced it, clearly, look, there's clearly an injury that Liam Williams has suffered. What I don't want is for Liam Williams to go into that ring injured, but to feel like he has to because he doesn't want to let everyone down. He'll only be letting himself down if he goes into that ring injured, but they do need to announce something very, very quick. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole card is scrapped. I wouldn't be. Let me quickly bring up the card and see if there's anything worth keeping that card together for. 2 secs, people. All right, see, even on Liam Williams' box rec, unless, better way, I'm filming this just coming up to midnight. 2 secs. All right, so they now have removed Liam Williams from box rec. I checked this a few hours ago, he was still there. It still said Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Williams. It's now saying Chris Eubank Jr. versus TBA. So I'm guessing it's now been officially announced. Not that it's not, well, I say officially behind the scenes, not to us. 2 secs. What we got here? Okay, so Clarissa Shields versus Emma Kozin. You know, Samuel Antwi versus Connor Walker. That's a good English welterweight strap. Then it's got Reese Edwards versus TBA. Bradley Reed versus TBA, Steve Robinson versus TBA, and Scott Forrest versus TBA. I don't know. I don't know if that's not worth just scrapping the whole card, if I'm honest with you. Again, and just giving the tickets back, because people that have bought tickets, again, I'm guessing 85% of those people will be from Wales, and they would have wanted to see Liam Williams versus Chris Eubank Jr. and nothing else. So, I mean, they've got a bit of an issue there. They really have got a bit of an issue. I only knew about this guy going to cruiserweight today, and that guy's Badou Jack. I was talking to Gareth A. Davis about potential opponents for Richard Riakporhe, and Gareth was like, okay, what about Badou Jack? And I was like, Badou Jack? Badou Jack's a light heavyweight, but no, Badou Jack has gone to cruiserweight. It's a big jump from light heavy to cruiser, a very, very big jump. I mean, I remember Badou Jack as a super middle. He's gone from super middle to light heavy to cruiser in about, what, 5 years. I don't know what Badou Jack can do at cruiser. Obviously, very skilled, very good, very determined, strong, but all those things were at light heavy. I don't know if I can add those things to cruiser, because he's going to be walking around with a lot more weight. But Gareth A. Davis Gareth A. Davis said that, you know what, Badou Jack could fight Richard Riakporhe. And I was like, what? I don't think it's going to happen, but that was the name he put out there. But yeah, Badou Jack now campaigning at cruiserweight. He says, look, he's very eager, apologies, it's late people, to get a cruiserweight title shot. He's got a bit of name value, so who knows, but I'm not quite sure about him at a cruiser. How old is Badou Jack now? I'm going to guess and say Badou Jack's about 36, 37. Feels like he's been around forever. 38 Badou Jack. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about Badou Jack as a cruiser, if I'm honest with you. But look, good luck to him. He's fighting in Dubai. When is this fight? The 26th of November. He's fighting a guy called Samuel Crossed, who's 11-1. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Badou's doing, really, if I'm honest with you. But look, we'll see. We'll see what Badou Jack can do. A name I think Richard Riakporhe should maybe target is Ngannou, who fought Lawrence Okoli, former European champion, based here, trained by Dominic Ingle. I think that's a good matchup. Oh, there are other sort of European guys out there, but I think the Yves Ngannou one's a good one, just because, again, former European champion. So yeah, that makes sense. 2 secs. Anything else of interest here? Gervonta Davis hits back at talk that Mayweather Promotions is protecting him. I don't think they're protecting him. I don't think it's that. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Gervonta Davis. I mean, look, I think the problem for Gervonta Davis is that there are so many good guys out there at 130 or 135. So many big names, like real good names in both divisions. And if you don't fight someone of note in either of those divisions, then people are going to accuse Mayweather Promotions of protecting you. It's that simple now. You've got to fight someone of note now. I mean, Gervonta Davis is, what, 25, 26. It's time for him to go, where we're seeing him in real big fights. He's clearly a draw. The last time he fought, what, was in Atlanta, and it done good numbers. He's clearly got the power. So, yeah, we'll see. I honestly think that Gervonta will struggle if he comes up against someone that's a really good boxer. I've watched his last 2 fights. So Leo Santa Cruz, obviously, look, he got the stoppage, and in the end, that's all that counts. Just going to quickly bring up, I keep forgetting the last guy he fought. But I thought he was getting outboxed in that fight until he, again, has that equaliser. He's got the power. Barrios. I thought Barrios, to an extent, was outboxing him, but he's got that power. So I do wonder if he can fight someone. I'm desperate to see Teofimo Lopez versus Gervonta Davis, someone that can box and also has power. So there's that fear there. Sometimes I see Gervonta Davis walk people down. It's almost like he knows they can't hurt him. He walked Gamboa down. He walked Leo Santa Cruz down, and he walked Barrios down. Just because he's almost like, I can take your punches. I don't know if he can do that with Teofimo. But look, we'll see. But yeah, there should always be a big name attached to Gervonta Davis. He's fighting Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz, obviously, a last-minute replacement, will come to fight, will get stopped as well. He will just get stopped. What's this? I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Charlo Castano, WBO, to conditionally approve undisputed championship rematch. Conditionally approved. Okay, anyway, look, the rematch is happening. It was a good fight last time out. Let's see what both can do. I actually thought that Charlo might vacate and go to 160, if I'm honest with you, but he wants to run it back. Good luck to him, but I do think the next jump has to be after that fight. If he wins against Castano, vacate, You know, let all of them fight for your scraps and then go to 160 and see what you can do. I think he's a good addition to 160. I think his brother, Jamal, will move up to 168 and then we'll see what can happen. Because obviously Jamal is trying to chase Canelo. I don't know if he's going to get the Canelo fight, but that's something that he's asked for and he wants. So I think it'll be interesting to see if he moves up. And when he does move up, there is a lot of talk of the likes of Liam Smith versus Jesse Vargas, potentially Costa Tsz's out there. Sorry, Tim Tsz's out there. These are all guys that want world title opportunities. So there's going to be loads of vacant belts. So we shall see. Bob Aram saying, if someone comes and offers Terence a lot more money, he'd be a fool not to take it. Yeah, Terence is gone. There's no two ways about it. Terence will not work. Well, I say will not. Look, he's going to be, I think, sort of a single contract type person. I think that's what he's going to do. One thing I did see today, and I would love it to happen, is that Keith Thurman reached out and said, look, give me 8 months and I'll fight Terence Crawford. He said it. And I think for Terence, that's a perfect fight. If you can't get Errol Spence, then Keith Thurman's a perfect fight. It really is. I'm not quite sure what's left with Keith. He hasn't fought for an age. His last fight was Manny Pacquiao. I think for Keith, it's not even I think it's a money thing more than anything, because he does seem like he's disinterested in boxing. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. So if I'm Terence, I go to PBC and sign a deal there. I mean, look, he could potentially sign a free fight deal at PBC. And the free fights he should have, without a shadow of a doubt, are Keith Thurman, Spence and Ugas, in whatever order. But those are the free fights for him. So he potentially could go and sign a free fight deal. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if I really spoke about this guy, but I do think I need to give him so much props now. I spoke about him briefly, I think, on the live watch-along, and that's Dan Azeez. For that performance against Hosea Burton, I thought it was punch perfect. It was perfect in every way, shape or form. I remember Dan Azeez kind of pulled up on me on the Undefeated podcast because I mentioned a lot of the light heavies and I didn't mention him. And I think that's fair. I didn't mention him because at the time, I thought he was below those guys. I don't anymore. I think he's right in the mix with them. Hosea Burton was supposed to be a 50-50 fight and he destroyed him. Like destroyed. He did not lose a second of that fight. Really was a standout performance from all the performances on the weekend. Honestly, I think it was the best performance. So better than Crawford, better than Rapport, better than Demetrius Andrade. I thought Dan Azeez has arrived and I thought it was really, really good. And look, we've got 8 guys now in the light heavyweight division in this country, and it'd be a travesty if we don't see them all somehow mix with each other. I know they're all trying to go for bigger things. Callum Johnson, for example, has got Joe Smith, and it looks like Callum Smith's going to have a big one as well. But if they don't, then give Dan Azeez a chance. Give him a chance, and I think he won't let you down. He's exciting. He is exciting. All right, last couple of bits here. Andy Ruiz expects to fight and beat Deontay Wilder. Labels Fury as best heavyweight. He's right about the latter. I would love the second part. You know, when you think about big pay-per-view fights, that's huge. Andy Ruiz, Mexican-American versus African-American, 2 former world champions, biggin, wanting to get glory back. You can sell that fight so many different ways. And I think that fight would do mega numbers. I don't know what's going to happen with Deontay Wilder. I don't know if Deontay Wilder is going to take some time at the ring. He's at an age where I don't know if time's not against him. Sorry, time's against him, apologies. But I do think he needs a long rest. I know he had a massive rest after the second Fury fight, but I think after watching the beating of that third fight, he does need a long rest. But I would love to see Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder in the summer of next year. I think that's enough time out. Summer of next year, that fight will sell out any arena in the States and will do huge pay-per-view numbers. I think that fight will do 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 pay-per-view buys. I really do. I really do. 2 secs. Anything else? A bit here about Eddie Reynoso saying that he doesn't think Benavidez has earned a fight with Canelo. Don't know about that, man. Benavidez was world champion, WBC champ at super middle. Remember, he got stripped because of things outside the ring more than what happened in the ring. And to say he doesn't deserve it, I mean, I know Callum Smith beat George Groves and he was the ring recognised #1, but he didn't really have a list of sort of guys that he destroyed that was, oh my God, it's got to be Callum Smith. Nor did Billy Joe, and nor did Caleb Plant. So none of them really deserved it. Maybe because they had the titles. Benavidez has done similar to what all of those guys have done. So I think he deserves it. I'm not having that. Anything else? All right, guys, I think that's it. Last bit here is on Demetrius Andrade. We'll end on this one. Demetrius Andrade obviously got the win over Quigley. Second round knockout levels, isn't it? To be fair, destroyed him. And he says here, I'm not going to call anyone out. Whoever wants to fight, let's fight. That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. And I understand the frustration because he has called people out in the past and he's not got those fights. But you've got to just still keep banging that drum. You've got to keep beating that drum because Eddie needs to do something here. Even if it's a case of Matchroom might make a loss on it, sometimes you got to take that hit for your guy. Demetrius Andrade's been loyal and been with them since the get-go. Since they stepped into America, he signed. And look, he's unlucky not to get the Billy Joe Saunders fight. What was that, three years ago? He's unlucky, but he's watching all these other guys get big opportunities. Everyone seems to be getting an opportunity apart from him. Everyone's getting a name. 160 to 168 apart from Demetrius Andrade. And let's not forget, he's a 2-weight world champion, unbeaten. Yes, I know he's difficult to fight and his fighting style is a bit ugly. Even when you're watching, it's a bit ugly, but man deserves an opportunity. And I really hope he gets one. All right, guys, that's it from me. Have a good night. Peace and love.